In the last vlog, I said I would be going to see some films as part of the London Film Festival. I believe I said I would be seeing Ida and Suzanne. Well, in a turn of events, I have now been able to go and see 3 of the films as part of the London Film Festival, of which I will be telling you about in this video. As it may be obvious, I have sort of lost track of these videos a little bit. I've been really busy here and there. I'm just too busy, you know. I'm too busy to be doing these vlogs. No, of course not. I'm not too busy to be doing these vlogs. I'm just busy not being busy. And I think many people can attest to how time-consuming that actually is. But I've been organising stuff and I've been going places. Just the other night I was at the Lyric, seeing one of their secret shows, so I haven't had a huge amount of time to be doing these. So I decided in this video, instead of doing 3 separate videos on each of the films that I saw as part of the London Film Festival, I will use this video to tell you about each of them. I think I showed briefly this folder last time I did one of these vlogs, but as you can see it's filled up a lot more since last time. And inside this folder I have these information sheets that have been provided to me. So these are all good for you to be seeing, moderator, I believe. This is evidence of the fact that I've been going to these screenings. And including this one. This wasn't one of the films that I saw, and nor was this actually scheduled on my BFI Academy events, but considering my arts project, which I believe is sound design, I thought it was very appropriate for me to go to this, which is the sound and image, creating a film around sound. Yes, the first of the films that I saw as part of the London Film Festival was Ida. I think you've seen this image before. And Ida is set in Poland after the war. And essentially it tells the story of a nun who is an orphan. Her parents were killed in the war, and it soon turns out that she is Jewish. So of course she cannot really be a nun because she is Jewish. But the Mother Superior sends her off into the city to find her aunt. It's not really explained why she does that, but it's probably the Mother Superior wants to show Ida what life is like not being a nun. And incidentally, by the end of the film, she is aware of what life is like not being a nun, and she still chooses to be a nun anyway. And there's sort of a theme there that life is undesirable, and sometimes it's probably better to lead a reclusive life away in a nunnery rather than enduring the hardships of life itself. For example, her aunt, well, to give the film away, her aunt ends up committing suicide by jumping out of her apartment window. So it's a beautiful film, it's beautifully shot. It's in black and white. It's not the most happy film. It's quite sad, really. But as I said, it's really, really beautiful and engaging. And as it says somewhere on my information sheet, each frame of the film is like an individual photograph. The director is Paweł Pawlowski. I think I said that correctly, and I believe he has made a few films before as well. But it's a really, really good representation of what life was like for people in Poland after the war, and what living in an anti-Semitic society was like for Jewish people, because in Poland after the war, people remained very, very anti-Semitic. The second of the films I saw as part of the London Film Festival is very different to Ida. and it is Gone Too Far. And this film was actually in English, in case it wasn't obvious with Ida. Ida was in Polish. And this film was in English, and it was actually a British film. And as you can see from the photo here, it's the story of how a boy who is a Londoner, he is born in London and he considers himself to be a Londoner, but his brother comes over from Africa, and it's very much a culture clash. His brother comes dressed in sandals with socks. He's kind of got all these shirts on trying to look cool, but he's not looking cool. And his brother really dislikes him for it, because his brother had this whole kind of expectation of him, and he was just greatly disappointed by him. And throughout the whole film, this boy is trying to get with this girl named Armani, who is really unpleasant and only cares about luxury and materialism. For example, she asks him to buy her hair from a beauty salon in order for him to actually be her boyfriend. And so she's very materialistic, and she has a best friend, Paris, and Paris is quite a famous actress. She's in the sitcom Some Girls, but she very much plays she's the intelligent one. She's aware of what's going on, whereas Armani's she's not the brightest character. But throughout the whole film, it's very clear the message that the director, Destiny Ekaraga, is trying to communicate, and it's about the Caribbean community living alongside the African community, and how they don't get on with each other, and both consider the other to be enemies of them. However, my problem with the film is that I did feel that it was very much too hammered home. It could have been a lot more subtle, is basically what I'm saying. Many times in the film, a character will go, why do we even have this feud? Why is this feud going on? Africans and Caribbeans, they're not all that different, are they? And I did feel that was a bit overbearing. And as a audience member, I don't want to be drip-fed, you know. I can see what's happening here, and of course in the climax they all do make amends and everything go right in the end. But the whole thing is set in South London, and I actually really find urban settings really fascinating, because I've never really grown up. I've always lived in quite green areas, Richmond, Chiswick, and so I find it like Attack the Block. When I watched Attack the Block, I really enjoyed Attack the Block, because not only does it have aliens in it, and I'm a huge fan of sci-fi, it also is urban, and those kind of characters that you get in urban settings just really interest me. The final film that I saw was called Suzanne. And this was a French film, and I'm a real sucker for French cinema. And as I said to Tom, who was watching it with me, the French really know how to make a good film. And Suzanne tells a story of two sisters and the lives they lead as a result. It's very much a coming-of-age story, and the French very much like their coming-of-age stories. Blue is the warmest colour, I believe, which is just won, I'm not sure if it's won the big prize at Cannes Film Festival, but it's certainly won a very significant prize at Cannes Film Festival. But anyhow, one of these girls falls pregnant, and it's very much about the relationship between the girls and the relationship that the girls have with their father. And you see, as the film goes on, it kind of skips time, so that you see the girls at different stages of their life. So they start as tiny little girls, and then they're teenagers, and one's a bit of a rebel, and one's a kind of goody two-shoes kind of girl, and then they're young adults. One of them falls in love with a criminal, and she ends up going to prison as a result. It kind of plays out like that. And of course, by the end, and I had anticipated this from the off, that because these girls shared such a close bond, one of these girls does in fact die. And I did, sorry for spoiling that if you're gonna watch Suzanne, but yeah, I did feel it coming from the off. Though I have to say, I did get thrown off the trail halfway through. I did think, oh, maybe I was wrong, but no, I was right. The film was particularly effective at catching that reality of life, I feel. These characters felt real, and the issues that they were undergoing felt very real as well. Which all makes for a really powerful piece of filmmaking, I do believe. A lot of the Film Academy students were also able to make it to the British Shorts, which was on Saturday, but unfortunately I wasn't able to make that, and I think there were, well, the majority of us were able to go and see that, and I wasn't able to, so I'm really, really unhappy about that. But anyhow, I think I got a great experience of the film festival, seeing 3 films. Can't remember how many we were allowed to go to. I think it may have been 7. So I saw 3 out of 7, which is pretty good, I consider. And the 3 films that I saw were all excellent pieces of cinema, varying from Poland to England and then to France. And each to their own, they all presented different types of film. So that's this. This is episode 2 over. Episode 3 is going to be about a panel discussion that I went to the other night about the nature of Gothic. And considering I have just spent a year studying Gothic literature and the previous year studying horror film, this Gothic season is probably going to be something I'm very excited about. So I look forward to vlogging about those. But for now, this is Trisby out. Thank you for watching, and if you're my moderator, keep on watching these vlogs.